Hi guys, I'm Tom. This is The Bunker. And this is Building the Ash Wastes.
This video is sponsored by the EmpireGameStore.co.uk. For exclusive bunker discounts, follow the link in the description below.
What you're going to find in this video, guys, is a step-by-step guide as to how I made our Ash Waste gaming table. I've been watching lots of Geek Gaming Scenics, lots of Terrain Tutor, lots of MS Paint, and I want to thank all of those channels for their fantastic content. Without further ado, let's go back a few weeks, see what materials I had, and start the journey to creating this. So obviously, issue here, there's a lip, and there's a lip because the wood bows, MDF bows, you know what I mean? So what it means is that I'm going to batten this. So I'm going to fasten it all together as one 4x4, batten it around the edges with wood, put a batten across the middle, so it's nice and solid, for want of a better word. We've got plenty of space in bunker to say, you know, to store stuff, and we want it as a 4x4 that we can play lots of Necromunda on, Ash Waste, but also it's a 4x4 gaming table for things like Firefight and other games. So the idea is that we can shift it and potentially move it to trade shows and so on and so forth in the future. However, we have nothing to batten with at the minute. So, to the Bunkermobile. Okay, so length of battening wood. I got 5 of these. They're basically 2.4 meters long. So I'll get at least one side out. So I want 4 sides, and I want a couple of battens down the middle. So it may be more wood than we need, but I've made this as strong as possible because we're going to be moving it about. Tester pots. These things are great. So these are tester pots for grey. Now I've picked, what's it called? Slate. And I'm going to use those later on. I've got 3 of them for like £3. Screws for a couple of quid. Big tip for you, make sure you get the right length screw that goes through your wood and your board and doesn't come at the bottom. It's common sense, but there you go. And I even treated myself to new impact drivers. Ooh, ah. This stuff from Pets at Home in the UK, it's sand, and it's called bathing sand. It's a fine sand, and it's like £2 for a kilo. So I've been using a knife to carve away to make it a bit of more of a curved, blended in before I put all the compound over it and stuff like that. Don't fucking do this in your house. Your missus is going to kill you dead if you do this in your house. So end of build day 1. I've clipped the cocktail sticks. They're in there, they're holding. The glue really, it's solid now. I can work on it, but I'm going to leave it overnight. I've moulded these a bit more, trying to give it a bit of base. And important to me is there's still big, large flat areas, which are going to accommodate things like the neck and under terrain, buildings, things like that. Bit of raised area for a bit of interest, raised in the corner. And obviously we're just going to cover this in compound. So following on, I'm going to show you how I cover foam to make it hard and what we're going to do. But for now, that's the end of day 1. Okay, so 1 bowl, patching plaster, or plaster dust basically, sand, PVA, water. I'm going to mix it up, make a glue piece sort of consistency, quite a solid mesh, so to speak. And I'm going to use my hands and go along all these connecting edges where the foam meets the wood, where foam meets foam, and I'm going to blend it all in. I'll try and record some of it. Obviously it's going to be messy, so guys, do it in a outside space, or your bunker, or your shed, not in your house, or you will be dead. There we go. So all the areas are blended, or the initial blend, should we say. And it's going to dry, it's going to tie it all down. I use my hands because it's supposed to be a roadway. A bit of water on the gloves, just tap it down. It'll find its own level, you know. So this needs to obviously thoroughly dry. I might give it a sprinkle of the chinchilla sand in certain places, the road mainly. And yeah, we'll come back to it when it's dry. So we're getting somewhere. So it's all blended in. Some patches are still drying, so to speak, or thoroughly drying, but it's touch now. This is obviously foam, so we need to seal this. Now, you can obviously spray it with PVA and stuff like that, but the way I'm going to seal it is I'm going to mix essentially my base colour as well at the same time. Remember these? 2 of those, bit of the sand, water in a bowl, and I'm going to paint the entire table. No, I'm not going to bore you with that, guys. It's literally painting an entire table with a decorator's brush. Don't use fancy things here. Decorator's brush is the way to go. But let's come back after we are a shade of grey. 50 shades of grey, or just a shade of grey. So obviously it looks like different colours. It is literally the first layer of getting some sealing and some base down on this board. Thoroughly dry, that's the next step. Then we'll come back in and we're going to hit it with a few PVA washes, and then we can get onto it with some of the rattle cans. We've sealed it. Obviously rattle cans react with foam, or the majority of foam anyway. So the reason we're going to seal it a good few times is so that we can just come in and just go, here's a breeze, I can spray. We're then going to finish it off with maybe some base ready. Back over with the dust and just giving it a sprinkle. It's looking like it's made of ash. Woohoo! So next steps, thoroughly dry this. When it's dry, I'll go over the top and brush the excess off. And then I'm going to coat the whole thing in a layer of watered down PVA glue. Dead simple with that, guys. Water down your PVA glue, use a decorator's brush and just go over the whole thing. When that's thoroughly dry, I'll come back to you and we'll start painting. Nice texture, nice and dry. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to hit the road with a little bit of a leftover Citadel spray. Hey up, sun's out in UK. This is what we class as sun. I've just hit it with a total coat of varnish. So it's drying off outside. Because obviously we spray outside, we want to be health and safety conscious. That's not the final colour of the table. So this is now all sealed and I'm happy that I can spray on this. So I'm going to go and grab some craft paints, some rattle cans, greys, bit of brown here and there I think, and I'll come back to you. Poundland Black. Ta-da! Well ventilated, wear a mask and all that lot of this stuff is brutal, but it's £2 a can and it'll do the job, it's matte. So that's that one. I've then got some grey, which I'll dot about. What I've done now is mix up another muck wash, bit of brown, bit of black, and I'm going over everything. So it just blends that gaming top base readies into the table. And I'm going to cover the whole table. So you might look at it and go, oh my God. But covering the whole board, and then we'll come back when we're dry. And there we go, after a good night of drying. So I've just gone back over the basic material with the Geek Gaming sealant. So it's already solid, I just want it to be super solid. But there you go, so we've obviously got some variation in the colours and the textures. I wanted it to look like a wasteland of, it's not nice living here. However, we will, when this is thoroughly dry now, I'll go over and just make some accents on the rocks, just with a dry brush maybe, or maybe even another wash. And then I've got a bag of tufts, which I'll just bang some tufts around, seal it one more time, and we're done. we go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that video. Yeah, lots of new techniques for me, lots of new things to try, and I thoroughly enjoyed every second of it. Will I be making another table? Absolutely, and I think I'm going to go a bit more solid down the Geek Gaming Scenics materials route for the next one, which I think we're going to be making an 8x4 Mars table in multiple sections for 30k, 40k, firefight, and so on and so forth. So, all that's left to say is, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and a subscribe, check out Patreon below, and happy hobbying.